Hello everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another video. So this is very unexpected. Today I was originally supposed to post my Christmas haul, just so we can show off everything that I'll be reviewing on the channel. But something unexpected came, and my brother came back from Target and found something that I was not expecting to find right away. And yeah, I guess we're going to take a look at this before we move on to my Christmas haul. But today we are going to be taking a look, and I'm really excited for this, the Playmates Godzilla King of the Monsters Rodan. So, yeah, we just got done taking a look at Scylla, and I didn't think I was going to find Rodan this quickly. But here he is, and this is very unexpected because I wasn't planning on doing a review just yet, at least until after my Christmas haul. But yeah, here we go, an unexpected review, and we're taking a look at this awesome Playmates Rodan. And I am super stoked to finally have Rodan in my Monsterverse collection, at least in terms of my Playmates collection. So and this one just looks amazing. It for Playmates anyway, it looks so good. Again, like I said before with Scylla, I know it's not, it's not Haya and stuff like that. But for Playmates, it does look really good, and pretty much looks like Rodan that you saw in the Monsterverse, which I really love his design in the Monsterverse. And with that, Rodan is probably my favorite monster, at least within the Monsterverse as a whole. I don't know why, I just really loved the monster, loved the design, and I'm really hoping to see him again in a future film. But anyways, this figure looks really good, and I'm just super happy to find this. So huge thanks to my brother for finding this one, which he actually ended up finding Scylla before too. So huge thanks to him. So taking a look at the packaging here, it's your standard new Monsterverse packaging. You got the really nice coloring in the background, the big Monsterverse logo with some monsters in the back. You got Godzilla, Kong, Mothra, Ion Dragon, and the King Ghidorah. And then you got a good look at the figure there, which he does come with an accessory, which is a tank, which is pretty fitting, though I'm really surprised they didn't include like a jet or something like in the film. And then here it shows you the title of what movie this one's from, and that's King of the Monsters, the only film Rodan has appeared in the Monsterverse. And right here you got some other logos. You got Playmates, Toho, Legendary, and all that. Fully posable and articulated. A beautiful render of Rodan right there, and it's got his name. And here on the side, it's got a nice little render of Rodan again. On this side, you got King of the Monsters. And here on the back, you get the Monsterverse logo, a nice little render of the figure, fully posable and articulated, and then a nice little bio for Rodan underneath the King of the Monsters title. It says, Rodan tears through the skies with molten wings and thunderous power. A fiery force of nature, he brings devastation with every beat of his wings. That is very cool. That's obviously very true to what we saw in the film. His wings are able to produce such huge gusts of wind that it just literally blows entire towns away, which is pretty terrifying if you think about it. But really cool. I like how it just has nods to his power in the films and all that. You got some more logos down there, and the others in this new lineup. There's the new Scylla, which we just got to take a look at, so we can take a look at that if you haven't already. The Frostvark, still debating if I'm going to get these, but Rodan and Scylla are the ones I wanted the most because they're new characters for the collection. And yeah, so that's basically it for the packaging. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at this figure. Alrighty, so here we have Rodan out of the package. So as you can see, I couldn't wait to do this video, and apparently tomorrow, at least at the point of recording this, the weather's gonna be pretty bad. Well, at least not bad, but it'll be very wet, so I will be unable to do any videos outside. So I'm just gonna do it in here in my room. Had to move some things to do it here, but yeah, this should work for the time being. So yeah, here we have Rodan out of the box, and this figure is amazing. I really love this one a lot. The wings do have to be attached, but before I talk about that, let's just take a good look at this Rodan. This figure is amazing. It's a great pose. It's a great design. I just love everything about this figure. And for something, you know, that's not Haya, right, or SH Monster Arts, Playmates did a very good job with this Rodan, in my opinion. So I am very satisfied and very pleased with this one. I'm just really happy to have Rodan in my Monsterverse collection. This was a monster I was really wanting Playmates to make for a very long time. And they did do like that one Titan Tech one a while back. That one was cool, but obviously I was not interested in that weird transforming ability. So I'm just glad that Playmates gave us an actual Rodan, you know, articulated figure. So yeah, everything about this one looks really great. Love the colors. Like I said, I love the design, the pose that it's in. Its pose is like in its signature, you know, Rodan pose where he's just standing there with his head facing forward and the wings are out like that. So you're not going to get him in a typical flying pose with his neck facing, you know, upwards or anything like that. But for the most part, it looks good, especially when it's on display like this. So, yes. When we do open the figure, the flaps here, the wings do come detached. So like when you take it out of the box, it's just him with his arms out, which it does give him like a really weird, interesting look to him. But the wings, you just basically attach. So each wing has a little, two little pegs that you actually insert into the arm, which were pretty easy to put on. They weren't really difficult at all. But you can see where the two little pegs are. You can see right here. So yeah, each little wing has like little pegs that you just kind of stick into the holes of the arm. And then there you go. You got yourself Rodan with his full gigantic wingspan that he has in the Monsterverse. So that is pretty cool. The wings probably can pop out if you really kind of wiggle them out, but obviously I have no use to doing that. They're gonna stay in here and look really cool on this figure. Detail wise, the detail is very good as well for a Playmates Monsterverse figure. You can see here on the head sculpt, it looks pretty good. It looks just like Rodan from the King of the Monsters film with the signature little design that he has on his face right here. So he's got the nice little crest and a lot of great detail going into the face right here. So a lot of great detail, especially the little bumps here in the beak that are kind of like his teeth a little bit. And here on the top of his head looks really nice, like the little ridges on his little crest that he has up here. And here's his face forward. So yeah, it actually looks pretty darn nice for this figure. I really do love his head a lot. And then here at the neck, primarily throughout this part of the body, he's got covered in just like these armor plating scales all over him, which I guess from what I heard, they're kind of like made of like volcanic rock in a way. So they're almost act like a shield or armor for him, almost like rock magma armor on him, which is really cool because Rodan was definitely more of a fire monster in the Monsterverse than any time I've seen him previously. So really do love the design of the little armor looking spikes are on here, which are pretty classic with the very original Rodan from the older Godzilla films where he has like spikes all over his chest. So I like how the Monsterverse kind of incorporated that into their design, and you can see that very nicely in this figure. You can see more of that kind of continue along the bottom there, all the way down to his very cool looking little tail piece. Just some nice little detail. Now the texturing isn't like, you know, like I said, you're not going to get anything like Haya related, but for the most part, it is fairly textured. It is kind of smooth. It does look a little smooth. which you do get a lot with these Monsterverse figures from Playmates. They are very, very, very smoothed over, but I feel like the detail is good enough where it's not like majorly smooth like the back of Scylla or the Skullcrawler. There's at least a bit more texture going on here. Same here at the bottom part of the tail. The legs look really great as well. It's kind of hard to get them in here without hitting the camera with the wings. But as you can see here, yeah, they look really nice there. Nice little detail with the armor, you know, the spikes all over his leg. Looking very, very nice. Nicely detailed. And then his feet are nice as well. You can see here at the bottoms, there's no detail on the bottoms, unfortunately, but gives you just kind of the shape of his foot. And the toes are nicely sculpted with some nice little ridges on each toe. Looks like he's got 4 fingers total, which I think is pretty fairly accurate to what you see in the film. And yeah, like I said, I think I talked about this, but he's got some nice little detail going on here in the neck. One thing I probably don't necessarily like fully is just the abrupt change in color right here. Obviously, he's made out of like this reddish brown color, so it kind of matches like a fire, the fire aesthetic of him. But he's got like this lighter color for the underside right here. But then it just kind of abruptly changes to like this reddish brown up here. So it would have been nice to see a little bit of this color kind of bleed into the neck right there. Kind of same with the head too. I like his yellow eyes with the black pupils, and I like his little pink tongue. Kind of would have been cool if the inside of the mouth was painted in like somewhat of a pink color. I like the little black touch on the tip of his beak right there, as well as the tip of his little crests back there as well. But it would have been nice to kind of see a little bit of that here on the lower jaw. That's just my opinion. Another thing too, I really wish the claws on the hands and the feet were painted kind of like the same black color. But it's not the worst thing in the world, so I'm not too disappointed, but it would have been cool to see. Now for his arms, at least on this part, not a whole lot of detail going on here. It's a bit more smoothed over, but there is some little detail sculpted in, you can see. And his hands here on this side look pretty nice. Nicely sculpted. He's got like the 3 fingers sculpted in. And then you can see his 2 wings right here, 2 massive wings. Very nice sculpted detail you can see right here based on where the light is shining. So I really do like that. It's almost like just covered, like I said, in just this rock, molten like lava rock, which is just super cool. The sculpting doesn't like pop like very nicely, I guess, in a way, kind of like what you get with Haya. It's a bit more smoothed over, but I guess depending on how the light kind of glares off of it, you can see all of it being sculpted. But when there's no light, you don't really see that very nicely, so it's not like popping. I'm sure like a good wash would probably be able to kind of bring out that detail, but it's not the worst thing. But it's really cool to see the detail actually be present. Just would have been nice if it's not, you know, all because the light is shining on it, you know. But I do like the detail here on this side right here. It's kind of jagged, you know, so that's really cool. And I like the colors too. It's primarily just like this brownish red color, and then here at the edges over here, it's like the orange color with some yellow going along the cracks to signify him leaving a trail of fire as he flies, which is super cool. I really do love that effect in the film, and I think Playmates did a pretty nice job of showcasing that with the little yellow cracks going into the skin, and then the fire, which is shown by the orange right here. Unfortunately, it's not shown here at the bottom of the tail, but it does look really cool there, and it does give him like this really cool, unique, intimidating look. Here on the back side right here, not a whole lot going on, especially paint-wise. It's primarily just in this brownish red color, but you can see the detail on the wings is a bit more present here on the back side than it is in the front, which is very interesting. That's just from my eyes anyway, when I was looking at this guy before doing this review. But I do like how the detail is present, though. At least that's better than just having it be like a sticker like Mothra, or just having it be smoothed over. So I'm really glad that Playmates actually put in the effort to showcase a lot of the detail on here, even if it doesn't pop out as nicely as it should anyway. So, but I like the detail. You can see just that kind of like that armored overlapping plating scale looking look to it, which is really cool. Nice little detail in the individual lines with each little segment right here. Even here on the back side of the arms, nice amount of detail, maybe just a bit more than what you got on the front side, but still kind of a bit more smoothed over, but nice little detail. Same with the back of the hands as well. So it's almost like the same what you got. And here at the back of the head, nice amount of detail here in the back of the head and the neck. Nice jagged looking little skin texture. And then kind of going down the back, just some really nice detail sculpted in right here to kind of match that roughness in his skin. So that looks really nice. You know, still kind of a bit smoothed over, but still looks really good. And then you got the little tip of his tail, which actually does have some color. It's got the little orange on the edges with a little bit of the yellow cracks on it, which is really cool, but kind of it kind of sticks out when you're looking on the back side because it's like that's the only thing that's painted and not the side of the wings. But then when you flip it over, these side of the wings are painted and yet this part of the tail is not painted. So it's almost like it's supposed to be flipped over, but technically it could, but you can definitely see that the ridges along the back connect to this part of the tail. So you could flip it over like this, and that does actually look much nicer. You can see right there, but it does break up the sculpt. You can see right there. So that is a nice little articulated point, but really kind of breaks the sculpt when you twist it. But the colors kind of matching look really nice. But you know, still very cool though. For articulation, there is a good amount of articulation, not high quality, but still pretty good for a Playmates figure. There's nothing for the jaw or the head, unfortunately. That would have been really nice, in my opinion. So his head's going to be stuck in this open position, but you got a little bit of neck articulation. It can kind of go up and down a little bit, not a whole lot, but it primarily can just swivel left and right. I don't even think it can go 360, but that's pretty much all it can do. Just look left and right. Would have been nice to have just a bit more articulation for the neck, though. And then for the legs, for the thighs right here, they can just move forward and backwards. Or I guess, what do you call this? Side to side? They do kind of move forward and backwards a little bit. The joints, like where the swivel is kind of weirdly placed on this one. So it can kind of go forward and backwards, but it's at an angle. Then it can rotate like this. So you got some nice little leg movements here. And it's got knee articulation, just forward and backwards, not side to side. But then you do got some ankle articulation, so that just rotates. So you got some nice little decent articulation for the legs themselves. You can have it stand like this, or maybe have him stretched out like he's about to grab something. But hey, he can stand, and that's probably the main thing that I want with these figures, is that they're able to stand. The only other piece of articulation, oh yeah, I mean, obviously you saw the tail. The tail has a little swivel, is the arms. So the arms have an articulation joint on them, which, let's see if we can get this to work. You can make them go down like that, which is pretty nice. And then you can make it go up, so you can have them flapping if you really wanted to. It doesn't go up all the way, but at least you can get some difference in his pose with the wings. So I guess you can make him flap down. So yeah, that is pretty cool. And they can also rotate forward and backwards, which I'm pretty sure they can rotate 360, but these wings might get in the way with the sculpt. But it's not like we need to twist them all the way around anyway, but you can get some nice little poses with him here and there. But very nice though. See if we can put him back in his normal pose. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this Rodan figure. I really like it. Yeah, sure, maybe there's some little flaws in it, but this is a Playmates figure. This isn't a high quality collector item figure, but for a budget of for something like this, it is definitely very worth it, and I'm still very pleased to have it in my collection. So we're going to do some comparisons. Actually, no, before we do comparisons, we're going to take a look at a little accessory, which I almost forgot about it for a second. I guess I'm just not used to it because Scylla didn't even come with an accessory. Same with the Frostvark. I believe. I don't think that one did. See, I don't even remember now. But here's a little accessory that the Rodan came with, and is a nice little military tank. Pretty cool little solid little piece. No articulation added to it, but just a really nice solid little piece. Nice detail though in the sculpt of the tank. It looks really nice for something super super small. So you can see little doors, nice little pieces attached to it, and the little treads it has on it. So that looks really nice, and its little cannon right there. So just a nice little tank piece to kind of go along with your giant monsters, which it scales pretty nicely, though Rodan would easily destroy this thing. Just one flap and this thing's bye-bye. But still, really cool to little comparison right there. But other comparisons we'll do is the other main stars from King of the Monsters. One I really wanted to do is Mothra. So here is Mothra compared to Rodan. I don't know how to easily do this. This is a nice, really tight little space I'm doing this review in. But she's definitely very tiny body-wise, but her wingspan is actually pretty nice, and scales very nicely with Rodan right here. So you can recreate that iconic fight between both of these guys in King of the Monsters. So that itself is really cool, and they scale very nicely, and I think it is pretty darn accurate to what we saw in the film. The next up, we'll compare it with Godzilla. So as you can see right here, I think they scale very nicely together in my opinion. Rodan obviously looks much more bigger and intimidating with that giant wingspan of his, but Godzilla definitely wins in terms of height. But they look really nice together. And then last but definitely not least, we have the infamous King Ghidorah. So here's our King Ghidorah, the Playmates version, next to Rodan. I'm trying to see a good way to show this off. Not a very nice space in here, but let's see, I guess I can do it like that. So there is Rodan compared to King Ghidorah, and I think they fairly scale very nicely together. King Ghidorah is definitely much bigger. This King Ghidorah from Playmates, while it is very cool, it is very undersized. Would have been nice if Playmates made a much bigger Ghidorah that's much more in scale with these figures. But they do look really great together because they do fight in the movie, which that was a pretty cool and a pretty quick fight. But Rodan definitely seems he's like a little too big next to Ghidorah, or I guess vice versa. Ghidorah does look a little small compared to Rodan, but they look really great next to each other. Alrighty, so here's a quick little comparison of the big four featured in King of the Monsters. Do pardon the dust back there. I had to I had something standing there, but I had to move it for the purpose of this video, and I didn't get a chance to dust it off, so do pardon that. But here's the big four from King of the Monsters: Godzilla, Rodan, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, and they look really great together. Mothra, poor Mothra, she's like the smallest one of them all, but it is so cool to see all four of these guys together in my collection in toy form. I think Playmates did an excellent job with all of these, because it's just super cool to have it, and I'm so happy that we finally have Rodan. So yeah, these look just great next to each other. Alrighty everyone, so that's about to wrap it up for this review. I absolutely love this figure so much. I'm so happy that Playmates has finally made a Rodan figure. It's something that I've been wanting for a really long time, and I'm just glad that they finally decided to make one. And I'm glad to have it in my collection too. So despite some of the things that maybe were not really problems, but things that I kind of wish were improved or just applied to this figure, overall I think it's just a really great one. I'm pretty satisfied with it for being a Playmates figure. I think it's a really great rendition of the Monsterverse Rodan. And for those of you who are big fans of the Monsterverse, who love collecting these figures from Playmates, I highly recommend picking this one up. You can probably find these at Target now, both Rodan and Scylla. So yeah, if you're wanting to look for this guy, keep checking your local Targets and just check to see if Rodan and Scylla are there. And if you do, again, highly recommend picking these ones up. They're really great figures in my opinion. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for my Christmas haul video after this. And yeah, so I'll see you guys again for the next video.